Did you start it early?
Started it just a touch early, but it wasn't too bad. It's too low. You probably can't even hear it quite yet. Don't make fun of me for that. Don't write that down.
I'm not writing that down.
I don't like this notebook thing. I don't like you taking notes.
I'm just keeping
everything.
track of what we're playing.
Oh, okay.
So this is Dave Matthews.
Under the Table and Dreaming record. And we're going to be playing Dancing Nancy's.
Is that the name of this song?
This is the name of the song.
I've never known that.
You'll hear him say it at one point in the song.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. It's a song that usually during his concerts is when he introduces his band.
It seems like it's a good pace for that.
He always changes the lyrics too with like the place he is. New York City instead of where it says in Paris. He changes it to Fifth Avenue and things like that.
I think I've heard a live concert where he does that.
It's pretty good. Definitely one of their favorite freestyle songs.
I feel like Dave freestyles a good bit on any of his songs, though.
That's true. He loves to jam it out.
I thought my pen wasn't going to work for a second. It's still having difficulty.
All right. Well, I'm Taylor.
I'm John. And this is our second or third episode of Couple of Nothings.
That's us. Just a couple of nothings. And we
We've
picked this Dave Matthews record for a specific reason this episode. Dave Matthews really kind of screwed us over.
No, Dave didn't.
You're right. Well, who was it? Governor Kay Ivey. And the National Weather Service, National Hurricane Service. The wharf.
Kay Ivey made the call. She made the call from on high. It came down to the Gulf State Park, and an amphitheater with metal bleachers later, we were out of a show.
The wharf was not. Yeah, so we were supposed to see Dave Matthews Band down in Orange Beach, Alabama this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend. What is the name of the tropical depression? Alberto?
Is it Alberto?
I think it's Alberto. Thanks to him, who didn't even hit the night of the concert. We didn't get to see my favorite musician. That's alive at the moment, at least.
We probably had less than an eighth of an inch of rain the night that the concert was supposed to be.
We had enough rain that we didn't close our windows. Like, we didn't have enough rain to close our windows.
Right.
So we slept with the windows open in my new converted camper, Subaru camper. How'd you sleep in it?
I slept fine. The first night, the bugs were the mosquitoes and whatever else was biting me was a little annoying.
If you didn't listen to our first episode, we converted my Subaru into a
2006 Subaru Outback.
Yep, we converted my Outback into a camper. So we built a PVC platform with a wood, what is it, 2x4, whatever.
It's just composite
plywood,
board.
Yeah, plywood board. We put some foam over it. We put our sleeping pads. We covered it with sheets, but we had a tapestry up. Ended up taking the tapestry down.
It was too hot.
A little toasty.
It would have kept the bugs at bay, though.
Definitely would have kept the bugs away.
It's definitely a wintertime thing, maybe.
Maybe.
Because
we gotta find some way to keep a window in the thing, because
we'll still need airflow.
I went to the bathroom at like 6 a.m, and when I walked up, it was just like your face, and I was like, man, anybody that drives by is gonna see that we're sleeping in my car.
We just gotta get those back windows tinted.
Yeah, or we just use some little like blinds we can pull down. We'll find something. We got extra PVC pipe and string. We can make something, I feel like. But I slept great. Got a full 8 hours Saturday.
Sure did.
Sunday night. That was pretty nice. I wasn't expecting that. The fan was nice. Yeah, once we figured out the bug problem, once we got whatever that little porch bug zapper, it's like a 15-foot barrier thing.
It uses butane to ward off mosquitoes.
Man, that thing was awesome. Once we got that thing and had the windows cracked the right way, it was, we
had to have the sunroof open and the windows cracked because that thing was using butane.
Yeah, but we didn't have it. We accidentally left it running, and we didn't have the sunroof open all night. But we had the fan going. Once we figured out where to put the fan in the front of the van or in the front of the car, it worked out perfectly. I slept great Sunday night. But yeah, it was, despite the concert being canceled, which you wouldn't be able to tell that it was supposed to be raining by our sunburns. How's your sunburn doing?
I've been really enjoying the cold showers, and it's doing okay. My skin is tight.
Yeah.
We were stretching before this episode, and I can feel it then. I can feel my skin stretch because
I can't do cold really showers, burning. But I left my aloe vera in the fridge, so I had cold aloe vera, and that was really nice. I can't do cold showers. They freak me out.
You have to breathe through it. If you breathe through it, it's really nice, actually.
I cannot do it. I have never in my life been able to take a cold shower. I don't know how you do it. That's a skill. It's a skill I do not.
You can't ease into it. You have to.
My body just doesn't acclimate to cold water. Like, I don't get
used
to cold. I don't get used to it in swimming pools. Like, I never get used to it. Like, I'm always cold. My body just doesn't acclimate to it very well. It's always been a problem.
Maybe you take short, rapid breaths when you're cold.
I don't know what it is, but I am not going to work on it because I don't enjoy it. So, anyways, what was your favorite part of the weekend other than the sunburn and mosquitoes?
Well, those are two things that are fairly easy to beat. My favorite thing was probably most definitely riding our rented bikes around the trails at the park.
Yeah, so we stayed at Gulf State Park, and we rented bikes Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. We probably rode, at least 10 miles, I'd say.
We were close to 10 miles if we didn't ride 10.
I really wish that the trails, it was a great park. I wish the trails had been marked a little better. They were cut very well. They were blazed correctly. We couldn't tell what trail we were on half the time. All the signs were washed away. I wish we had known, because I'd love to be able to go back and trace it and see how far we did, because we rode bikes for probably 3 or 4 hours. That park was so cool. There was such a change of scenery everywhere you went. It was really cool. It was I know at one point we were on the Bobcat Trail.
Yeah, Bobcat, Bear Creek.
I don't even know what
I don't remember the name of the one on the other side of the main road.
One of them was Rosemary Sand Dunes.
Yeah, that was one that was close to the byway. What is it, Blue Angels?
The Beach Mouse Road. No, not that.
Anyway, the road that parallels the beach, the
Gulf State Parkway.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
The Gulf State Parkway, the trail you just mentioned. What was it?
The Beach Mouse. Oh, the Rosemary Beach.
Rosemary, Rosemary was close to it.
Yeah.
Because we saw the cars from time to time.
It was a really, really cool park. Anybody down there, check it out. The beach was really cool. That was a nice little spot. Definitely next time we're down in Gulf Shores, have to hit up that beach, because it's cheap access. You just paid a fee. There's a nice little pavilion and stuff. It was awesome. We had a great weekend.
The best thing about camping at the park was the access to the beach access point, because after we rented our bikes, we found that we could ride them to the beach,
right?
Because the park has constructed a catwalk
that
above
goes up,
the Gulf State Parkway.
And you also got a pier pass, so you could drive.
You could drive from your spot.
We probably should have driven with our yoga mats and the beach bag, because that was quite a haul. But I enjoyed taking the bikes. But it was quite a haul.
Once we were on our way back, we had figured it out.
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit better.
It took us a little bit. One shoulder bag with 2 yoga mats and 2 bikes is it's a bit difficult to carry. So, anyways, you live and you learn, right? We also figured out that we overpacked a lot. We only used a quarter of the stuff we packed.
Yeah.
But
we have plenty of room. I mean, there's a ton of room underneath our platform in your Subaru.
Yeah. We'll be posting some... we'll make a post this weekend about how we made the car camper. So if anybody wants to check it out, see what we did, you guys can see all of our pictures and everything like that. We've been tweeting about them and stuff, but yeah, there's a ton of room. I can't wait to take more trips. Maybe this weekend we'll do something. I don't know. We got to
Maybe.
get ready for Iceland. We got to pack
Mhm.
this weekend because next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend we leave for Texas, and a couple days after that we'll be in Iceland. Whoop whoop! Can't wait.
You're quite excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start packing. I'm also because then I could finally start moving my stuff too, because I can just pack all my winter stuff up together and move it into my new house, which is exciting in itself as well. But yeah, lots of fun, exciting stuff coming in the next couple weeks. The month of June's gonna be really really exciting. Gonna be a lot of changes. I feel like I'm pretty pumped. What are you most excited for about Iceland?
The landscape. And I have to say, is that the first time you've bumped the mic today?
That's the first big one for sure.
Okay. Threw a shoulder into it. I'm a little excited to try the minuscule amount of Icelandic that I've learned.
Ooh, are you willing to say any of it yet?
Well, so according to what I've been learning, you say hello differently to a man or a woman. So if I was going to greet you in Iceland, it would just be soil, Taylor.
Soil.
It sounds just like soil, as in dirt in English. You can also say, "How's it going?" Is and I wasn't prepared to say that one, but I can't remember how to say "how's it going."
Okay.
So a lot of
But
what.
how do you say hello to a male? Do you remember?
Set.
Set. So soil and set.
Yes.
Huh.
Set, John.
Set, John. Huh. That's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
A lot of what we've been learning hasn't been necessarily. I say we because it's.
It's an online course.
Yeah, it's an Audible course, and there's a narrator, and then there are two people who are repeating the phrases.
So they have dummy
So it's
students.
conversational,
Yeah,
right?
Gotcha. Interesting.
I'm bought in. I'm in the classroom.
John's
Right.
part of the online virtual world. Are those your friends?
Only ones. I
Are
don't
those
even
the
know
only
their names.
other people outside of me that you talk to during the day?
It is. So a lot of it has been learning to say, I don't understand much Icelandic, so that you can, if someone tries to conversate with you, then you can say,
I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Ég skil ekki íslensku. Ég skil ekki íslensku.
Íslensku? What is it?
Ég skil ekki íslensku. That means I don't understand Icelandic. That's close. Close
Something
enough.
like that, okay.
Close enough.
Anyways.
Do this with your hands, and they'll understand you.
Just shake my hands.
Right.
No. Okay. Anyways, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for all the waterfalls, and
Yeah, the scenery is. I don't want to get my expectations up, but it's gonna be beautiful.
I don't know how I can get. I don't know. I don't know how my expectations can be blown because the pictures I've seen. I don't know. Pictures never do a landscape justice, and so I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. I think there's gonna be something around every turn. My great aunt, I think, or my grandmother's friend, somebody just went to Iceland, and my grandmother was telling me about it, and she said that the only thing we have to be careful is the food's really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And that you have to shower naked in front of people when you go into some, like, the bathhouses and stuff, like the Blue Lagoon. And she was very, very uncomfortable with showering naked. And she, like, called ahead and I think made plans to, like, change so that she didn't have to, like, be naked in front of other people. So she was, like, warning us about that. And she told us what grocery stores to shop in as well. So we had a couple of pointers, but she said it's beautiful. And she said every corner you turn around, there's something really cool and really pretty. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, and I think with us renting a vehicle and driving around the ring road, we'll see a lot of things that aren't necessarily the images you see when you Google search Iceland.
And it being light all day is going to be so cool. We can do stuff until like midnight. We can go out to some hot springs in the middle of the night. Maybe see the northern lights. That would be so
They're
cool.
not going to be very prominent while we're there,
No, but
are
there's
they?
still a possibility we could see them, especially in the northern parts. So there's a possibility, but would have to be out like really late at night to go see them. It's pretty unlikely, but
Well,
that'd be really, really cool.
We stay up late sometimes.
Every now and then. Well, maybe the time change will keep us up later.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Depends
so
on how
excited.
much of a toll the plane ride over takes on us, really.
That's true, but we're staying in the Airbnb the first night. So
Get a
then,
good first
then
night's
we're
sleep,
gonna get
yeah.
into the camper lifestyle. So hope my sister won't be as quite adjusted as we are. Or at least we've had one weekend's practice. I don't know if she's ever really been camping. Oh, she just went camping for prom. So this is gonna be a new experience for my sister. I'm pretty excited.
Is that what the kids are doing now? Camping for prom?
That's what the kids are doing these days.
I'm for
What
it.
did you do after your prom?
We went to someone's. It was a shop party, just a big metal building that someone
okay.
works in, like
That's
repairs
kinda, yeah.
vehicles in.
Yeah, that's
or-
what we did. We went to our friend's farmhouse. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, same thing. Huh. Small world.
yeah.
Weird.
It was a shop party, and there were some parents there, and they weren't with us
Oh,
all
okay,
night, of course,
okay.
but we partied.
Yeah,
You know.
we did too. It was all fun and games till somebody threw up on the horse. That was really fun.
Were they riding the horse?
Trying to get on the horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a fail.
Yeah.
If
It was
they had
pretty
been
bad.
riding the horse, it might.
No, I think it was like they got on and then like, ooh, it fell off. And, like,
that's
leaned
even
back.
more of a
Yeah,
fail.
Yeah, I think it was pretty bad. I'm glad I wasn't there when it happened, but some of us, yes, woke up and some friends were on sleeping in the driveway. Another friend was under the car. It was pretty fun time. Pretty fun time.
Sounds like high schoolers.
Yes, it was definitely high school shenanigans. That is for sure the epitome of high school shenanigans. I don't think I would ever go back and do high school shenanigans ever again. Would you? Would you go back to high school?
Well, you're always telling me that my questions are loaded. That's such a loaded question because I don't know if I'm going back as I am now. I don't know if I'm going back just to relive in the same mindset.
That's true. I could not go back in this mindset that I'm in now. I'd be like, poof. I would not like high school. That would not be fun.
I would just be lame. I would have my head in the books.
I mean, we're
and
lame now.
I would hang out with everyone still.
We're lame now.
But there'd be some stupid things that I did that I wouldn't do, and I would spend a lot more time with maybe not necessarily coursework, but at least learning.
Yeah, if I could go back to college, I would hit the books a lot harder. I would be friends with more of my professors and stuff like that.
I don't know if I would be friends with more of my professors, but I would definitely have dialogue with more of my professors.
I just mean I think I'd have more like intellectual conversations and friends in intellectual circles and things like that.
I probably had more dialogue with professors than I did coursework. That's not fair to say because that's impossible. But I feel like I put more energy into dialogue with professors than I did my coursework.
I had great relationships with some, but I wish I had engaged in more challenging conversations and things like that with my professors.
Well,
now, if I could go back, I'm just saying if I could go back with the mindset I have now, that's what I would do.
Some professors were disappointingly dismissive
Really?
of dialogue, and it could have been the way I was approaching a topic because, like we're talking about, we have different mindsets, even different attitudes toward conversation now. So, or I do anyway. So
You had teachers like turn you down from.
Oh yeah, just not. Some wouldn't even make eye contact and were just extremely dismissive of questions.
Wow, I only ever had one, but she was in the process of writing a book, and she just thought she was holier than thou at the time. And I made an appointment with her, which apparently conflicted with an interview she had scheduled with some newspaper, and she didn't want to help me with my project. So that was the only time. But that was more of like specifically a project based. That wasn't me going to just try to have an open dialogue with somebody.
Right.
I don't think anybody ever shut me down in that aspect.
Sometimes I would just get I don't know. And then they would keep packing their things. And, just nothing that you could convince someone of rudeness, but just not interested. And that always puzzled me, because I can't imagine being passionate about teaching people and being dismissive of any question, especially a question that's happening outside of the allotted time that someone is supposed to be there for your class.
We'll have to have my sister on and give her some life lessons before she goes to college. She'll be here for like a week in July, so we'll have her on, and we'll have her on and we'll see how she changes over her years of college.
I feel like an episode about life lessons, let's not say life lessons, an episode about college lessons before you get to college could be one of our most controversial episodes.
That is very true. We could have some we could have a whole bunch of people on. We could have our whole friend group on and give my sister life lessons, or lessons to make it through college.
Get some of the guys down from DC.
I'm just thinking of our friends here. Have a couple of my girlfriends, have a couple of your guy friends, and my sister can get both sides of the spectrum here. We've got friends on all sorts of sides over here, so we can definitely get some different life lessons, especially Ole Miss wise. We've got a crew here, so that would be really fun. We'll maybe get something in the works here. Hopefully not corrupt my sister too much.
Wouldn't that be the opposite of what we'd be trying to do with the episode?
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what it's going to turn into with our friend group, because we had our fun in Ole Miss.
Well,
Definitely
yeah.
did.
But if we're trying to teach her what not to do, then maybe
We'll
we bring everyone in and just give her examples of all the things not to do.
That's true. Maybe that's exactly what it'll
Right.
turn into. This is what you shouldn't do, Kendall. Anyways, I'm very excited for my sister to be going to college. It's going to be really fun 4 years, and I'm excited to be close to her, because we'll have somebody to go back for football games and stuff like that for at least the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Ole Miss athletics, SEC baseball tournament champions.
Heck yeah, SEC champs. SEC.
Hosting a regional, and if we win, hosting a super regional.
Yeah, when does the regional start?
This weekend.
This weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, that's fun stuff. We have Missouri State.
Texas.
No,
Tennessee Tech.
And SLU.
St. Louis
University.
University.
So we should hopefully slide right into that super regional. But
Who
we'll see
knows?
this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll see. Those powder blue uniforms, they work their magic sometimes.
Yeah, but one win won't get us through the weekend.
It's true. But it's pretty exciting news. We also had a tennis player, first time ever, tennis singles NCAA champion. It's very, very exciting.
I don't know her name.
I don't either. I just know that she's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
I should
Congratulations.
have looked it up. Yeah, it's really, really big accomplishment. I wish I knew your name off the top of my head. But yeah, lots of stuff going on at Ole Miss. Pretty exciting stuff. It's very, very cool to see. I'm very excited for our athletic program.
Yeah, your sister will enjoy she'll reap the benefits of going to a baseball school for 4 years.
That's true. We'll see how our football program's doing come the fall. Oh, goodness, we'll ignore that. I had it on silent, but I forgot.
There's our first listener call.
Yeah, no kidding. I forgot that when that Do Not Disturb is on, that when a call comes through, it still makes noise. But it's only for calls. It just mutes text messages.
That doesn't make much sense. If you don't want to be disturbed, you don't want to be disturbed.
I can change the settings. That's just the setting
gotcha.
I have it on.
That makes sense.
It's more of like my nap setting. So like I really only.
So if someone calls, you need
it's
to answer,
important.
right?
Yeah. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
So I apologize about that, Mother. I will call you back later. What
Valerie, you got ignored.
Yeah, you sure did. Sorry, Mom. I apologize about that. That doesn't happen very often. So almost stuff.
Do you think we'll ever have our parents on?
I was really hoping when my dad was here we were going to have him on, but we just didn't quite have the
We
time.
weren't quite prepared.
That's true. We didn't have the time. He's never listened to a podcast before, so he didn't know what to expect. I asked him if he's ever listened to one. He said no. So we definitely would have to give him a couple samples of our stuff for him to listen to before we could get him on.
Right.
I think we can get my sister on, like I said. Your parents, is just going to be a matter of getting them back to Birmingham. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
they don't travel much.
No, they don't. But maybe there'll be another concert or something fun we can get them up here for. We got to get your sister up here too.
Absolutely.
We got to get her up here. Come hang out with us when we can come to the breweries and stuff. But
Maybe we should interview she and Maddie.
yeah.
Have two nurses.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was thinking, at least my roommates, Maddie and Meredith, they're both
Right,
nurses.
right.
Have them.
Have the nurse panel.
Yeah, well, they're just starting, so I was hoping to have them on. We've got a lot of guests. I was looking at our podcast guest list today. We got a lot of people we're going to start reaching out to now that we've got one guest podcast under our belt. We kind of got our equipment all set up and things like that. We can really get the ball rolling here. We got a lot of exciting stuff to do, especially with the car camper. We're going to take it when we go see Panic in Memphis, and at the end of the month, we're going to interview some people. We're going to go to Atlanta one weekend, go visit Stowe, go visit some other people in Atlanta and talk to them. We got a lot of things, a lot of people to talk to, a lot of people around here. We got your roommates, got lots and lots of people we're going to have on. So fun and exciting things to come for a couple of nothings.
Our first guest episode was with Stowe Mahoney, and you mentioned him when you were talking about our plans. But Stowe came on, and we had a good talk. We talked about we didn't talk about many things that he was involved in, but Stowe's really involved in the community. He is involved in a few startups, and we had a really casual conversation about travel, which is what Taylor and I kind of, I guess you'd say that's our first venture.
Yeah.
Was traveling around and documenting everything. So we talked about where Stowe had been and what took him to where he had been, and just had a really nice talk with a really good guy.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to it yet, definitely check it out. It's worth a listen to. We talk about all sorts of things. We get into some conspiracy theories.
We mention a few, yeah.
We talk about, oh my gosh, we talk about lots of stuff. We talk about his move to Atlanta. We talk a little bit about his business shipped up in Asheville, North Carolina. So we talk about a lot of stuff, and I can't wait to have him on and again so we can dive more into those ventures and stuff and check in and see how his dart league over in Atlanta is doing. It's going to be weird not playing darts with Mr. Mahoney. It's going to be really, really strange.
Yeah.
Our darts league's not going to be the same, even though I still crack up when he used to email me and he called me, all right, Mr. Koss. I was like, whoa, I'm a lady. And he was like, I'm sorry, I didn't think, he was like, I just expected the captain of a dart team would be a man. He was like, I apologize. I will always hold it over his head, but gonna miss him.
You're doing nothing but breaking down cultural norms.
You're right. Yep. Female podcast dart player. You're right.
Adventurer.
Yep. Traveler, yeah. Whatever you thought.
We do a fair bit of adventuring when we travel. You always stick to the trail.
That's true.
And if you're listening and work at any of the parks that we've been to,
we stay on the trail.
We stay on the trails.
We're going to have go on a lot of adventures in Iceland. We're going to do some snorkeling, lava cave exploring, glacier hiking. We're gonna do a lot of adventuring in Iceland, and I'm really excited. We're gonna start doing some GoPro videos and things like that. So we're gonna have lots of content coming out over the next couple months. I'm pretty excited.
Hopefully, lots of inspiration.
I was starting to make kind of a summer bucket list too, of where we need to start going, especially with the camper places close by. If anybody has places within like 6 to 8 hours of Birmingham, let us know.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, not Birmingham, England. That definitely wouldn't help us.
Any suggestions, we'll get there eventually. But Birmingham, Alabama, those are the ones we're most interested in.
Yeah, the ones that we can drive to. It's gonna be a fun summer. We got a lot of fun plans. So, but let me ask you this, Sean. How was your day? What did you see in the news today, or anything catch your mind today?
I didn't. I feel like every time you ask me this on the podcast, it's been a day where I haven't had much time to look at the news or dive into any topic.
We do this kind of spontaneously, so I understand that.
Right.
We're just recording whenever we have a couple of spare moments.
Yeah. The last thing as far as news that I saw was about Syria leading an international body of nations, and the body, I can't remember the name of it exactly. You could find it with a quick Google search while I talk about it. But the body deals with armament and how certain nations are allowed to stockpile arms and let's see.
What did you have? What should I Google?
Google Syria UN, and it should be some of the most recent stories. Darkest day in history, in single quotes, as Syria begins UN disarmament presidency. So this is a rotating presidency where each of the nations involved, I assume it's each nation involved. There may be privileged nations who are in line for presidency, but they rotate in alphabetical order, and I think they reign for 4 weeks at a time. And you might want to Google what exactly.
From the 28th of May to June 24th, so almost a month.
Okay, so right at 4 weeks, a month. And was I right about the role of the governing body? First of all, what's the name of it? Conference on Disarmament. So, as the name would suggest, the conference deals with disarmament instead of what I was implying earlier. And I assume that the conference deals with negotiations between nations regarding what a certain nation is going to give up if another nation gives up another.
I can't find anything that talks about what the...
You may have to Google exactly
right, so
what it is.
I'm going to have to trust you on that. I can look it up really quick, but...
But people had to know this was coming, right? I mean, it's a rotating presidency.
They said that they're going to come after Switzerland because it goes in alphabetical order. The only way that Syria can get out of it if Syria itself chooses to step down.
You know, that may be a move that they consider if they're trying to win some goodwill with certain UN members.
You know, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I wasn't in the car today, so I didn't listen to any news. I'd have to really change. I'd really have to look this up. This is fascinating. This is definitely something that's gonna.
Some people seem to be taking it seriously anyway. I mean, a
UN body that negotiates international arms control agreements.
Okay, so
the temporary post gives Syria the power to take the lead on issues the conference is working on, meaning that the already deadlocked body will have an even harder time achieving. Well, okay, that's somebody's opinion.
Well, and they're saying that it's already deadlocked. So unless Syria could swing the decision making in a certain way because of the presidency and the power that comes with it, then I don't think there would be any issue, because if the conference is already deadlocked, then having someone who's going to enhance the deadlock doesn't do much.
You're right. What is it going to do? Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, I'd really have to look up more of this. This article does a better job of explaining it, but...
So this could very well be a matter of... Is it hyperbole? Is that how you say it?
Hyperbole?
Hyperbole. Yeah, sorry. So I was spelling it. And,
right.
So it could be an issue of journalistic hyperbole.
Yeah.
And speaking of hyperbole, we were talking with a couple at, what's the name of the restaurant in Pensacola? Hopjacks,
yeah,
right.
Pizza
we met a couple at Hopjacks who were finishing up their meal, and we were starting ours, and we started talking, just about Pensacola, how it was like New Orleans, and how we got into talking about Savannah, because Savannah is also a lot like New Orleans, and the conversation just carried on, and eventually we were talking about the weather, and they brought up an interesting hypothesis that maybe Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel was the first pioneer in fake news because he was busted. They claimed that he was busted having assistance.
Yeah. Washington Post snuffing out social media's fake weather photos.
So they were saying...
Oh, no, that's like hurricane imagery. Hang on.
They were saying that he was busted having assistants toss palm leaves into the picture frame as if they were being thrown by the wind in some of his reporting. So they were saying that it all started with Jim Cantori, and now everything, or you have to be skeptical of everything you read in journalism now because it could be utilizing hyperbole to attract readers or push a point. And I think they were absolutely right about that.
Yeah, they were talking about how extreme the weather was in some of the recent hurricanes. So he was saying, of course there was damage, but Jim Cantori at one point was standing there with goggles and like a full rain jacket, rain suit or
during
whatever.
Harvey in Houston.
And people pull up in a truck behind him and they're waving barefoot, standing in the water, like waving like crazy. People just hop back, drive off in their truck, and he was like, obviously, they were making it look a lot more extreme than it was. So I agree that the weather could definitely be the first sign of fake news. I mean...
Well, Harvey was recent, but Cantori has been reporting the weather since the mid-'90s, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that definitely could have been the first signs of fake news, is making things look a lot more extreme, starting with the weather.
It's easy, and who's going to question? There's something just flew behind the weatherman. The first thought is, oh, he's in danger. The second thought is, the weather must be bad. No one thinks. I wonder if someone threw that across the...
Yeah, that's
the picture,
so true.
the frame.
I don't know. I can't find anything about Jim Cantori.
Faking weather?
Yeah. Jim Cantori fake weather. I can't find anything.
Maybe they were just... Maybe they were making that up.
Maybe they had the wrong person. Maybe it's not Jim Cantori.
Maybe not.
That's so funny, though. But, I don't know. Maybe Jim Cantori is the father of fake news. We'll never know.
Maybe he had it removed from the internet. The whole scandal.
Ooh, that's a huge conspiracy.
That's power.
That is power. That is something Jim Cantori could definitely do, though.
We're on to you, Jim.
We're coming after you. Just wait.
I didn't say that. We're just on to you.
I'm coming after you. But.
So, this is a off-the-cuff question, but it's on to another topic. Sort of the same topic. How much of the news that you read or you hear do you think about, like process the headline, and then think, I don't know if that's right. Like, that doesn't sound right. That sounds exaggerated.
I don't know. Maybe like half. I always like click on it with some sort of like weird question in my head. Whether or not I question the title or like the meaning behind it, I don't know, but I always have some sort of question that makes me click on it. So, and I probably click on like half of things I see.
Okay, a more narrow question would be, how many headlines or catchphrases that you hear in news or read in news are skewed away from the actual meaning of the article or the actual focus of the article?
I don't know, but what I'm so sick of hearing people say is, in an unprecedented presidential act, talking about like Trump and stuff, like that kind of over-exaggerated language, and like, of course everything Trump does is unprecedented, like in an unprecedented, nobody's ever done it before, like, spare me. I hate that kind of crap.
Either way you use the descriptor words, it's an attempt to color someone's opinion before they even read the event.
Yep. Yeah.
And to me, that's dishonest.
Well, like I was telling you, I was listening to that NPR article, and this woman was interviewing somebody about the money being spent on the Russia investigation, and the guy all he said was, I think that the voters should be asking for this to end because the money could be spent on something else. And she was like, okay, so you think that this has been an absolute big waste of money and that the government should do this, and he was like, whoa. He said, all I said was, I think this. He was like, you just put so many words in my mouth. And she just blew up the little thing that he said. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I feel like is wrong with the media right now.
Do you think that journalism is activism?
It shouldn't be, but it's being that right now.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And that's what
It
you
shouldn't
just
be that.
described.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to influence opinion, you're an activist. When you're trying to report fact, you're a journalist.
Right. Yep.
And I understand that, that's not black and white. There are things that, even if you're reporting what you see as fact, your bias is going to color your reporting. And that's understandable. That's passable. But what we're seeing now, it's far beyond that.
It's widespread, yeah. It's everywhere.
It's open.
Yeah.
There's no attempt to hide it.
No, it's out of control. It's really, really bad. You have to pick your side and know whose side everybody's on before you can even turn them on or read them. It's bad. It's really bad.
Do you think that's a result of a more divided viewership as far as content, journalistic content, or do you think it's a result of the businesses saying this is how we get more viewers?
I don't really know.
So do you think that the businesses, the journalistic businesses, are catering to a divided people, or do you think,
or are they
they're
causing the divide?
Right.
That's a good question. Most people, I think, would argue that they're causing the divide. I don't really know the truth of that answer. I definitely think a lot of things that get reported on are exaggerated or brought to people's attention that maybe don't necessarily need to be part of it, and that creates a further divide. I think sometimes some people are just fed a little bit too much information. The 24-hour news cycle, what happened when you started with the 24-hour news cycle is you lost the localization of your news, because when your newspaper was only coming out on the weekends or every day, you were just getting your local news. You weren't having to have the surrounding towns. You weren't having to have the entire state or the nation, like national news. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're kind of getting everybody involved in everybody's business, you're driving that divide more. But that's just because you're feeding people more information. Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense, but I think I disagree. I don't think by virtue of an expanding area of news, per se, that division grows. I don't think. This is just
like I said,
off-the-cuff
I think
conversation.
it's more just because you have more knowledge of information going on. That you have... It's like the more gossip you're involved in, the more somehow you're involved in different sides.
That's
you know what I
issue.
mean? That's what it comes down to.
That's the issue more than being exposed to more news, is that the news is taking the form of gossip.
Yeah.
And gossip is the attempt to influence opinion, roughly.
You're right.
So I think it may be sort of like a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
So a business sees that they can run an opinion piece that has this really fiery language, and they see that opinion piece gets all these views because the fiery language pulls in people from both sides,
right,
because that language draws people in, because people love controversy. I believe that inherently we want to discuss things. We want to talk about things. We want to debate things. But that language draws people in, and a business sees that and they say, wow, look at this opinion piece that was kind of edgy, got all these viewers, all these listeners. Maybe we should throw some of those subtle terms into the headlines, and maybe we'll get ahead of the old WAPO over down the street.
Yep, that's exactly how it happened.
And people love that kind of language. They love to be passionate about things, and that's great.
People love drama.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, but we have to be careful where we focus that, because we're seeing it focused against one another, being driven by businesses who are interested in growing viewership or making money. And that's, I don't say that as in a condescending way, because go make your money. Just don't hurt anybody while you're doing it. And some would say that playing into that division is hurting people while you do it, and that's a legitimate argument. But I can't fault the business for following the trends that make them money, until I know that they're doing it out of ill intent. Like so if a newspaper came out and incited a riot, which some people would argue some of the news sources have in our past decade, but until it gets to that point, then I don't have a problem with what the companies are doing. I think it's up to the individuals to focus their energy in the correct fashion, which I think we've proven to everyone that we don't necessarily know how to do that yet.
No.
But we're learning. It's trial by fire, and everything is with us.
I know. I was thinking about today, like, I think we're in such a new age of technology that we really are getting away from the old models and things, and that we are starting to dig out the corruptness and the people that pick a side and aren't reporting on the truth, the yellow journalists and things like that. And I was really thinking today that this is such an exciting time that it's really, a lot of it's kind of scary and sad right now. Some of the, I was telling you yesterday, the weird commercials that I'm seeing everywhere about companies having to apologize for data breaches and, oh, we're changing our this, and Uber's CEO promises not to sexually harass people, and we promise not to share your data. Those kind of things are I don't think
he sexually harassed anyone. He just abused a driver verbally.
Well, but the whole, they hired him because all those drivers were.
Oh, he was hired to clean that up, and he ended up abusing a driver verbally.
Anyways, it was like craziness. And but I'm just saying in general, those apology emails are so scary right now because we were in such a dark age of, okay, we don't know the powers, we don't know what can happen, we don't know what's going to, and you were being run by the businesses and the black market and those kind of sketchy deals and things like that. And now we're really starting to dig those out, and we're like, this isn't okay anymore. And I think we're kind of getting into more of like a liberation of like free, I don't want to say like free media, but more of like crowdsourcing and finding alternative sources, and we're not being held down by those monopoly companies anymore. And I think it's a really exciting time, and that, as scary as those ads are, I'm glad companies are changing and being more transparent.
I think the security-related apologies, I'm okay with. Those don't scare me, because for every, and this is an analogy, but for every new piece of body armor, there's a new bullet. And that's just the world of security and the world of the attempts to break security. There will always be someone who innovates a way to break the newest security, and then there will always be someone on the other side who innovates a way to stop that new breach. And as long as you're handling people's data and people's sensitive information, you'll have to apologize for that when it happens. And it will happen. And people have to understand that when you give your information to a company, they are engaged in this battle of privacy. And it's between individuals, and it's between nation states. Because North Korea was suspected to have been behind the Sony hack. So you're putting your information in the hands of a company who's involved in a war, and it's a war for your data. So,
did you ever look up more about that law that just passed over in the EU?
The opt-in?
Yeah.
I didn't look into it anymore.
I keep getting a whole bunch of emails about it. I know I just spelled that really wrong.
You spelled it so wrong that I couldn't even make fun of it. But Google knows.
Google knows. It's the best. You should have seen me try to. Oh, it was so bad earlier. But yeah, so this new rule, I forget what the little acronym is. That's from 2016. Oh man.
I think this law requires companies to have users opt into data collection.
So what it is that when you say that you want your security or your data removed, they have to remove it.
Oh,
right
okay.
now, in America, it doesn't have to be removed. It's just like an optional thing, I guess, or like you like opt in or something. But that's, from what I understood, that's the difference. I wish I could find more information about this. I found it really easy the other day. Anyways, So I think that I got a ton of those emails that are like, our policies are now changing, but they don't apply to people in the U.S. So
Right. It's UK citizens.
no EU citizens.
EU citizens. Sorry. Do you think companies should be required to delete people's information once they leave a service?
If you say I'd like my information deleted from, then yes.
Okay.
I think there should be a difference between I don't want to get your emails anymore versus I don't want to get your emails and I don't want you having my stuff to ever contact me again in the future. I think those are two different things. And I think that's kind of what that law does.
Right. And so the whole data collection issue and the way companies use data collection has really, I don't want to say it's really, but it has presented new questions for my idea of the relationship between consumers and businesses and governments. Because I mean, you're giving a company your data, and without you then they wouldn't have that data. So then how do you properly regulate, if you regulate at all, how a company uses it? Because some would say that, you should be paid for your data. Some would say that you trade your data for the services you use, and that's your payment for the services. Maria just scared me.
Whoops.
So Maria is here with us. We didn't introduce her, but she is about a 70-pound American black lab.
Barking at the mailman.
And is it the mailman? Mail lady?
The mail lady drove by a minute ago. I don't know.
Quiet, Pop. Do you want me to let her out? You want to take a break?
Yeah, actually, we're probably gonna need to wrap it up soon. It's almost 6:00 and we got darts.
Well,
so
let's have another. No. Let's schedule an episode to talk about the relationship between data companies or companies that use data and the regulation. Let's look more into that EU rule.
Sounds
and
good.
Look into some of the legislation in the U.S. that's been proposed.
All right, sounds good. So this has been another episode of A Couple of Nothings.
Second or third.
We're going to save some of these discussions for our next episode. We were on a bit of a time crunch today. We've got some darts we've got to play.
And Maria is sick of us being on the microphones.
We're going to be squeezing in episodes whenever we can.
And if I don't know off the top of my head the best way for people to contact us.
You can email us at acoupleofnothings@gmail.com.
Okay. If you have any topic suggestions or any resources for research, send them our way. If you have any opinions, send them our way. We'll do our best to answer all the emails. If you know anybody that's interesting and you think they should be interviewed and their ideas or their work should be on the web, let us know. We'll have them. We have 3 chairs. We're willing to have anyone. I'm a big proponent, and I think Taylor is too, of total freedom in conversation. So
yeah, we want to talk to everybody and anybody. So the more people we can get, the more the merrier. We've only got 3 chairs painted, but we've got a possibility to paint like 6. So we'll get some new microphones, and we'll fit as many people as we can. So we're gonna leave you guys with some more Dave Matthews. And John, if you've got anything else.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
Your